Okay, so we got Noah Lyles here ahead of Adidas Boost Boston games in Boston.
Yep.
First question. You run the 100, you've run the 200, you've run the 60, you've even run a leg on a 4x4.
Yeah.
What is your favorite event and why?
My favorite event is definitely the 200. Why? Because it combines the 100 and the 200. So I get sprinting, but the 100, by the time I get to 60 meters, I'm just hitting top speed. And I've been known to be able to hold top speed for a decent amount of time. So I don't really get to show off all my sprinting. But in the 200, I can hit up top speed and I can hit another 100. So that means that I get to show off both sides, but I don't have to run a 400. So it all works out.
All right, yeah. So I'm curious, you PR'd obviously your first meet in Doha, or first time in league meet. What gains do you feel like you've made compared to last year? Like, why do you feel like you're a better runner than this time last year, and why?
I definitely feel like I'm a better runner. Practice goes a lot smoother than it did last year. I feel like I was learning a lot of things. I'm still learning a lot of things, but not so much in my form, but more on my block starts and my angles coming out. Stuff more related to the start of the race and not so much the middle and the ending. Mm-hmm. So I'm almost starting to put a complete race together instead of trying to figure out where the race is going.
Yeah. So you're not a huge guy in terms of a sprinter. You're pretty lanky. Is lifting something like you've tried to, I guess, work on, or are you trying to bulk up at all? Or how do you stand on that?
I don't bulk up. What I say is I strengthen the muscles that I use so that I think of lifting as more I'm just strengthening the body so it won't break down as easy. So if I'm running faster and faster times, so I need my hamstrings to be able to handle that load that I'm bearing onto it, because the more power that I apply to it, the more muscle I'm going to need to be there. Mm-hmm. And if muscles aren't strong enough to handle that, you get injured, which is actually what happened to me last year. Yeah. My hamstrings just weren't strong enough to go that fast yet. And my body did it, and as a result, I injured myself. So this year we focused a lot more on strengthening my hamstrings. We were already strengthening the body as a whole, but now we've had a lot more time to develop the muscle from last year and this year. So there's a lot less risk going into this year.
Yeah. What kind of lifts what kind of lifts do you do to work on strengthening the hamstring?
There's tons of things that you can do. Right now, we do all different types of stuff. We do one-legged squats. We'll do Romanian deadlifts. We'll do squats. Truthfully, and position form is like something that my weight room coach yells at us at. Like I focus a lot on positioning, because if you're not hitting the right positions when you're squatting, then you're probably working on your back, and what's the point of doing it in the first place?
Mm-hmm. So it seems like you're not as crazed about like hitting maxes or whatever, and more just doing it for function.
No, I don't even know my max this year because we just haven't got that heavy.
Yeah. And what's the name of your weight room coach?
His name is Steven Sorrenzio.
Okay. And he works with just your group?
Yeah, he works with Pure Athletics. He works under my coach. But he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. So I was going through your Instagram, doing a little preparation for this interview. I saw you had a tattoo on your ribcage icon.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that? When did you get that?
So I got that after indoor. I think I got it. So SEC indoors was just starting, I believe, for college, and that's when I got it. I have it for kind of two reasons. One, I'm a big Jaden Smith fan, and he has this song Icon, and it's always talking about eye contact on his torso. And I actually did watch the interview where he said he actually doesn't have eye contact across his torso, but he planned to get in the future. And then I love that song, and I was always thinking like icon is somebody that somebody looks up to, something that somebody wants to be, a role model for people to look up to. And I'm like, that's something that I want to be. Like, I want to be an icon. I want to be somebody that people can look up to. They can say that this guy, he's doing the right thing. They're just trying to be the best person out there. So I wanted to be considered an icon. And best places to put it was where the song said, on my torso. So
you beat him to it, yeah. And that was this year?
Yeah, that was this year.
Okay. So it sort of gets to my next question. I'm wondering, like, on the track and off the track, sort of when you finish your career, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish by the time Noah Lyles' career is over?
Things that I want to accomplish in the sport. One, I want to be the best in the world. I mean, I want to get world records. I already have one, but I got many more that I want to get.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully, I've had a dream where I actually got the 100-meter world record at like 9:41.
For one, is that possible?
It is in my dream, so it can be on. Nobody said it's impossible.
Yeah.
Would you say Usain Bolt's time was impossible?
People probably would have, 10 years before he did
Exactly,
it. Right?
but you can't, until somebody does it, you never know.
Yeah.
And we're always evolving, and this new generation that's coming up is definitely evolving into fast sprinters. And we have Michael Norman running breaking the world record at 44.5. I mean,
something like that indoors. Which is,
and I as soon as he got on the track, I knew he could do it. Like, I wasn't shocked when he came across the line. I was just excited for him.
Oh no, I was the same way. I was watching the press box. I'm like, he's gonna have to get pretty close to it to get it, and to win the meet, he would have to get pretty close. And he did it. And like off the track, when you're done, is it anything beyond just being an icon, or is there anything like that?
I'm dabbling in a lot of things right now. One of my so it's a pretty generic dream of most kids, but sometimes they want to be rappers. So I'm really into music, and I just started dabbling into music. I made a song for the adidas Boost Boston games, but I want to take it even further. Maybe start performing. I'm really big on performances and like making people happy and making the crowd go happy and just living in the moment. So performing is always something I like to do. I'm also really big into art, so I'm always doing shoes, and I've been doing a lot of different things with Adidas and their shoes and some of their clothes, and I definitely hope to get into something like that into the future.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you're more, or it seems like you think of yourself as more of a 100, 200 guy.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to run any like Diamond League 100s this year?
Yeah, I actually do. We were actually trying to get into Shanghai. They were just taking too long for a response, so we just pulled it off. And I might go to Jamaica, was it June 9th, I believe. And
the races?
Yeah. And if I go there, I'm planning on doing 100.
Cool. And personally, I know last year you guys, as you transitioned to pro, you didn't go to college or anything like that. Are you taking any classes right now? Are you trying to do the college thing at any point?
No, I'm not too big on the college thing. It's always there if I need it. Adidas definitely put that in our contract, so if we ever want to pursue that, it's there. But as of right now, I'm just kind of focusing on track. It's very hard to juggle. Me and Drew Hunter were just talking about that. He said he's doing just a few classes. It's very difficult to juggle both, and he has to tell them, oh yeah, I'm going to be going to do a run, and they're like, oh, you run for the school? And it's like, no, I'm a personal runner. It's like, oh, they don't care about that.
Yeah. Even though that's more
exactly.
impressive. But did you get your driver's license yet?
I did get my driver's license. I got it about 2 months after I got my car.
Okay.
And so I've been driving everywhere.
Awesome. Now I know it's something when I talked to Christian Coleman, I talked to guys like or you, inevitably someone will bring up the name Bolt, who's not in the sport anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you've probably heard like people have said the next Bolt about you, Van Niekerk, you, Coleman. Like, what do you think about that? Do you ever worry about like what these people are saying, or does that ever factor into? What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't worry about what people say. I mean, everybody's looking for the next something. I mean, it wasn't even Bolt a few years ago. It was the next Asafa, or the next Carl Lewis, or the next Michael Johnson. There's always going to be a next something. Everybody wants the next star, but truthfully, it's just the next big name that they're really searching for. They just have a name to replace it with.
Yeah.
So truthfully, I'm just going to keep being Noah, and hopefully sooner or later it'll just become Noah's the best.
Yeah, you're getting there. What'd you split in that 4x4 Florida relays?
So there's like two splits. I'm definitely 45 flat, and by one of my coaches, and then another coach had 44.9. So in between there.
Okay. So do you have it like maybe? Would you ever consider moving up end of your career or after a few years? Or?
Maybe at the end, but not now. Maybe when I'm done with the 100.
Yeah. Did you watch the 200 at Worlds last year?
Oh, yeah. It was kind of hard, but I definitely forced myself to watch it.
I mean, the winning time, I think I had it was like 2011 or 2009 by Guliev. You ran 19.9 last year. You ran 19.8 this year. I mean, are you thinking I could have won this, or what's going through your mind when you watch that final?
Yeah, of course I think that I could have won this. I don't think there's anybody who have that time and look at the World Championship and said I could have won that wouldn't have said that. But, I mean, it just wasn't my time. That's kind of how I have to think of it. Everything was meant for a reason. I believe that if I didn't get hurt last season, that I wouldn't have known that I had to strengthen my muscles for the rest of the season. So now we know that going forward that I have to keep putting on muscle to accommodate for the speed that I'm gaining while also trying to find a good balance. And truthfully, I think it made me more hungry. I'm definitely more anxious and more excited to go after 2019. And I actually got to take a look at the track when I was in Doha, and it is beautiful.
Yeah, the new stadium.
Yeah.
Who are you most excited to race that you haven't raced yet?
I don't really think there's anybody that I'm like excited to race. I just love having a good race. Truthfully, it's the fields. Like when I hear a fast field, I'm excited to go run fast field. Like when I heard that all the runners in Doha, I just went crazy. I got excited.
Yeah. Have you ever raced Coleman?
Yeah, I've raced them a few times. Not in the 200. Besides when we were like back in junior, when we were both juniors.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've raced them in the 60, but never in 100 and never in the 200.
And then just to go back to last year, the 1990 in Shanghai, then the Diamond League title in Brussels. I know, you've had big dreams ever since you turned pro, but did you expect that kind of success that quickly in your first year?
Yeah, I actually I wanted to run 19 as a senior in high school. So when I ran 19 as a first year in pro, I expected that. And when I ran 19.8, I mean, all my training was pointing to that. So I almost expected to run 19.8. I'd be a little upset if I ran anything slower than 19. But
so is there a time this year you have in mind, like 19.6, 19.5, you want to get down there?
Truthfully, I have little goals for each one. So by the end of the year, I probably want to be pretty close to 19.4.
19.4. And 200 USA's, 100. Would you consider doing the 100 as well, or what's the plans?
Me and my coach are still going back and forth on that one. I want to do the 100, but he wants to do the 200. So whatever we decide as we get closer will be what I run. But it will be one of those.
Okay, no, I appreciate the time, and good luck this week.